Hello. You may have to excuse any ambient noise if you can hear it. It's my dryer, but don't worry about it. I've just thought I'm going to do a review. We're going to review Power of the Primes, Prime Wars Trilogy, or whatever it's called, Repugnus. Yeah, this came in a couple of days ago. What? No unboxing? I thought you guys were getting a bit sick of them. I've been spamming a bit recently, so whatever. So before we get into him properly, I suppose we should have a look at the box because, frankly, there's a couple of things that I can't remember. So we've got the box, and it looks like this, and his arms are moving in ways that they can't. We'll go into that in a bit. The names. Remember how that's spelt, so I don't get in trouble later for swearing, okay? And you open it up, and there's a space, and Solus Prime, which is that thing. And let's not speak any more about it because they're completely pointless. Yeah, rubbish. Back picture. Yeah, great, whatever, who cares. Okay, back on with the plastic. Huzzah! There we go. And it is, again, an update of G1 Monster Bot. See, I quite like him. He's a very interesting little thing, but the articulation is as good as I'd like, which sounds really petty, but it is. On the box art, they've got this arm like out here somewhere. It can't fold any more than that. Now, theoretically, I dare say if you clipped off this corner, and maybe these corners here, you know, just rounded out these edges, it would probably rotate out further. But do you want to damage a pseudo-exclusive figure? Because I don't. Which means, basically, as far wide as the arms will go, is straight out. They can go up a bit, but then they get caught on the mandibles, and they can go down a little bit, which is interesting, I guess. They've got a ball joint here, which goes up, and then they've got a hinge in here, and you know, so it can turn, it can do all this. I suppose the claws can go in and out a bit, but I do wish there was an out motion, but there isn't, and it's slightly annoying. From basically the hips down, which also translates to the dinosaur, not dinosaur, the beast legs. It's same as what they call Twinferno double cross. So it's got the out, it rotates. You know, there's the knee, there's a bit of toe if you want. Strangely hairy legs for an insect, but I suppose the insects are supposed to have hairy legs, so we can let them off. Yeah, mouth opens and closes. But because of how incredibly hollow everything looks, you know it's just a big empty hollow space, so it doesn't look that great. Which is a shame, but you know, he's neat enough. And if you lift up the jaw and you get your nail right in there, you can pop that open. That is a seat to fit his handy dandy little Titan Master. But quickly before we get onto that, I just thought I might as well turn him around and give you a full 360. So he's got a bit of a blocked off, is it thorax, abdomen, whatever it's called, I can't remember what it's called. No tail pieces, which is a bit of a pleasure because I hated the tail bits. And the wings on the back here, which, you know, fine, whatever. I'm not sure which way around they're supposed to be, if they're supposed to curve inwards or not, but whatever. These seem to clear this better, so fine. And yeah, nice little Autobot symbol, in case you weren't sure this was an Autobot. There's another one there, but it's upside down. Don't worry about it. So yeah, there's a chair, and you can stick the Titan Master in there. Which we're not actually going to do, because then we'd have to get him out again to transform it. So we'll put him off to the side for a moment. We shall get out Dastard, with a D. Dastard. Which is this little fella. And he looks like that. And he's got a weird face on him that doesn't really look like much. Maybe an angry fish with teeth. I don't know. And yeah, it's a thing. I don't care about these guys. Apparently they're supposed to be nods to Battle Beasts, if anyone remembers them. But frankly, who cares? And you transform it and it turns into a head. And I suppose I was supposed to do this because that's why I got him ready. Is it Dabaru or something? The one from Saints Return. What's it called? Can't think of his name. Double Cross Twinferno, that guy. So look, there's those two together. Yeah. And you transform them off and they turn into quite humdrum everyday heads. Whatever. I'll only need one of those in a bit. Comparison with Twinferno, no less. So, can I adjust this slice in a bit? So it's not so bad, not really, but whatever. You know what? Why do I even bother? They are very different creatures, considering they're off the same mould. Effectively, at least waist down is very similar mould. They are very different creatures. They seem to have very different proportions. They do look completely different, and I'll give them that fantastically. I'm glad there's no tail on this, because his, as much as I have just about got it to wedge together now, it still doesn't like it, and I hate it for that. But whatever. But yeah, they do look like very different creatures, and there's just Grotesque left. If I want to spend at least 40 quid on him, probably get on towards 50. I saw one for 36, and I didn't snatch it up when I saw it. Slightly annoyed, but I'd already just bought him, so I didn't want to waste the money. Oh well, it's fine. I'll keep watching. It's all good. Move that out of the way. Okay. Transformation. Okie dokie. So first things first, we're going to try and unpeg the wings. And there's these little holes there by my nail. They're going to the big tabs sticking out. Now, these are a little bit finicky. We will have to speak about these in a bit, but for now we'll put them off to the side. Okay, we're going to get the arms straight out, like that. Rotate these around on the ball joint, fold the claw in, fold this over like that, and then this little tab here, we'll go to that little slot there, so to fold it in to there. Huzzah! Do the same here. So get it about straight, rotate it around, collapse it in, and make sure it goes into the little tab. It doesn't tab in amazingly well, but it's just to say you've got it in the right place. So we've got that. We'll worry about the rest of this in a minute. The legs, which are about as much fun as they were on Twinferno Double Cross. Yay! So, we've got to get their tabs sticking out here that go into these brownish pieces, and they're an absolute nightmare. Huzzah! So, come on, play the game. Last time I did this, this leg popped off, so I don't want to do that again. Unfortunately, you may end up splitting this back section doing it, so don't panic too much. Your mileage may vary, but mine doesn't like doing that. So fold that out, rotate the whole thing around, try and make sure you don't catch that leg. And we'll worry about that in a second once we've done this one. So, come on, there we go. All the way out, good. Okie dokie. So now we've got these beastie legs. So what we've got to do is collapse those up into the back and push the toe back. And then this brown section it's on, we just fold all the way there, and there's a little notch there, and there's a little tab inside, and there's a little tab there, and there's a little notch there, and this little notch will tell you when you're there, and it all just sort of goes together, and hang on. At which point you rotate so the toes are at the back, and that's your foot. And surprisingly, has toe tilt. Quite nice. So let's do that a little bit faster. So you shove that up there, tilt the toes, straighten that out, and rotate it around. There's your legs. Ta-da! At which point we now untab these red sections from the back. Untab from the back, bring them all straight out. Rotate the big white sections here, turn, flip out the fists. Rotate down, turn, flip out the fists. And then you just unpeg this, and it, a big white double hinge in there, rotates down and just pegs into the back there. Like so. And that is Repugnus's body. Woo! And we're going to stick the head on him. There we go. And he looks alright. Why does my camera keep shaking? Behave. Right. Good. Okay. Let's try and adjust the lights again. Is that any better for you? Maybe a little bit. And we got the two weapons. Yay! Which you can stick in the hands as swords. We'll do one for now. So you can stick it in the hand as swords. There you go. But you can also, using, where are we? This hole here, where my nail is, that one there, can go onto that peg. And this side, which has got a tab in the middle slot, can go into that hole there. You see that? There you go. So, weapon storage. Yay! That's a thing you can do. I quite like weapon storage, so I'm not going to knock that. However, you can, apparently, bear with me, I will get back to that in a second, plug these together, and that is supposed to be a sled, or sledge if you're in the UK. We've got two little pegs there, so you can get a Titan Master, or whatever they're called, and peg them on there. They just sit inside. We are the Jamaican bobsleigh team. Sorry, Cool Runnings is a great film. Yeah. But as I heard in, I can't remember whose review it was. I don't think it was Bolt Matrix. It might have been like Caked Up or someone. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Apologies, whoever it is. What you can do is using these slots here, because it's not very clear, and I took some time finding out. These slots here, use these pegs. So if you put that slot on there, and they don't tab on very well, you've got to be very gentle with this. Try and line it up. Make sure you tab it all together just right. You can turn it into an arm blade, which theoretically you could, a la Generations Thrilling 30 Megatron, you could consider that some sort of cannon as well. So, I quite like that. I do that, because I'm cool. But, yeah, so he's got swivel, swivel, rotate, hinge, in and out if you must. No waste. Swivel, in and out, forward, rotate. These are quite nasty. This one's a bit stiff. This one I floor polished earlier, and that's the only reason it's moving this loosely. I thought that one was loose. I might have to floor polish that as well. This knee was quite loose. I floor polished it. Floor polish? I WD-40'd, sorry, that hip. May have to do this one. The thigh swivel. I floor polished this knee because it was way too loose. And ankle and twist. And that's about your lot. Oh, and Titan Mastery, whatever, who cares. But he's alright. He seems very... There's not a lot of kibble about him, and I do appreciate that. I know it's like on his chest and as his feet, and that doesn't really count. But no, I quite like that. I quite like that indeed. He is quite well done. I haven't quite fallen in love with him yet, but I have found myself carrying him around. I actually put him on the bed next to me last night when I went to sleep. Like, oh, I'll mess with him a bit. And then I watched YouTube videos until I fell asleep. I actually woke up and he was still next to me in bed, which is a bit creepy. I mean, it's not the first monster I've woken up to, but hey! Adult jokes. Anyway. Yeah, he's quite nice. He is quite nice. I'll have to do a bit of tweaks to him. I've heard that these swivels seem to be a recurring problem with a few people, but other than that, he's pretty good. Where are we? Twin Inferno, Double Cross, whatever you want to call him. And wow, that lighting is not doing me any favours. Sorry, kids. There we go. And yeah, they are completely different, aren't they? Really. I mean, you look at the legs closely enough, you'll start seeing issues. But the paint schemes and different highlight and the missing tails off the side kind of disguise it quite well. And he hasn't got a crotch flap like this one. But then, yeah, they are very different creatures, very different indeed, and I quite like them. I do, honestly. I need to put a bit more time in, investment into getting to know him, but I do really like them both. Do like them indeed. Heh. Problem now is I really need grotesque, and I don't want to pay the money for grotesque. I don't have well, I do have grotesque money, but I don't want to pay grotesque money. It is a grotesque amount of money. But for now, at least, I'm quite happy with these two. I prefer his beast mode. So his beast mode, robot mode, he's quite good. His robot mode is just superb. I really like his robot mode. His beast mode's a bit but I guess that's how it was, so you can't complain too much. I just wish there was that bit of articulation, that's all. Just that little bit more. Ah well. So yeah, Power of the Primes, Repugnus, and Dastard, and that thing. Who cares? But yes. He shall hunt you down with a double-bladed thing on his arm that's green and glowy, and possibly made of energon. Huzzah. Quite nice, actually. So, I should be ugly, I should be wretched, I shall see all of you in the next one. Bye-bye.